morning, this is Hero again. What are we doing today? Well, today is just an introduction. I'm going to do the Niwaki pines. We'll have some blacks, reds, Scotch, and Ponderosa, and I think I might have Mugo. Well, anyway, what I wanted to do today was to tell you how do I get started. I sold off quite a few pines this year, but I still got dozens. And what I wanted to do with this chapter was to tell you how I go about determining which one to get started first. I like to do everything at once, but there's just too many. So you have to have some sort of a system of how to prioritize the needed one first. So that's the subject of today's chapter, is how to select which one to work first. Today is Friday the 13th. And you know, to me, that number 13 is just a number. Well, if you study different cultures, different numbers have different meanings. Well, many of the in the countries in the Orient, 13 is not a bad number. Actually, some consider it lucky. And then others will consider 4 to be bad. But anyway, the point is, today is November, right? And what I have to do for the pines is I have to be able to wear a long sleeve, or I have to put those little guards on, because of the healthy plants will poke. In fact, really healthy plants, if you did this, sometimes you'll poke a hole and you'll bleed. But anyway, healthy plants are pokey, so I have to wait till it cools down to be able to wear a long sleeve. Okay, that's one. Also, well, this year has been really weird in terms of weather. About a week ago, we were at record highs. Instead of being in the 70s, it was 80s and 90s. It was quite warm. And then bam, one day we ended up with frost, and it was one of the coldest single day in 100 years. So anyway, that started this whole cold pattern, and so now I'm ready to get started on the pine trees. So let me show you how I go about selecting which one to do first. See this one here? I'll probably put this as one of the earlier ones, maybe first or the second. And how I determine that is the candles. Now, you see how vigorous these candles are and how big it is? Well, that's an indication of the health. Plus, this one will need pruning earlier than I'll show you another one that is right next to it, but maybe not as big a hurry. So the one next to it, see how the candles are not that big yet? So of these two, the one on the left will need my attention first. And while we're at it, I'll just swing over. This one needs attention. Okay, needles are yellow. I did feed it, but what I use is a very safe fertilizer. I put a organic that's very slow release, so the reaction will take time, and that's what I do. Well, most of the time I use the commercial version of the Osmocote, but this one I thought that it might help if I put some organic. So I did that about a week or two ago. We probably won't see the results till spring. So those three that we just looked at are all blacks. Okay, this one here. And I think 1, 2, 3 are reds. These are Japanese red pine. And okay, these could wait a little longer. Well, what I have to do with many of the red pines this time is cut back more severely. I haven't really worked them much, so they're healthy, but it's starting to lose its shape. So at least these 3 will be cut fairly severely. Okay, this one here is one of the Scotch pines. Well, some people call it Scotch, others call it Scots. It seems like on the West Coast it's called the Scotch pine, or at least that's the way I kind of remember from college. But anyway, this one just got shifted to this bigger container because it kind of got outgrew the smaller container that it was in. And I think I cut it back fairly severely at the time, and this will be fine-tuned this go around. So anyway, you'll see this being worked on in detail, and hopefully I'll videotape it so that you'll know what needs to get done. Okay, we're looking at 1 and then 2 3 of the blacks. So 1, 2, 3. This one on the right should get the attention first, the next one, and the one on the left probably we could hold off later. And you can see by the candles, right? See how this first one here has the longer, more vigorous candles? So that will be indicator that I should get to it. And then the next one is a little bit less vigorous candles it was. Plant-wise, they're all healthy. And then the other one here, and you have the least elongation of the candles. So that one will be held off. So that's how I determine which one gets first priority. Okay, as I pan, these are all blacks. You see these candles really long, and then as you go down, you don't see these really long candles. Okay, from time to time we talk about unbalanced. Well, the candles dictate the health of the zone. So up on top, they are bigger, meaning there's too much energy at the top. So something like this, quite often, will prune the top, maybe just 1 or 2, those big ones, and wait for the bottom to start catching up. But anyway, that's how you judge your pines. And so if you pan over here, you can see there's a few that is a little bit bigger than others, but that is not as bad. You can see the hoist that I used to transplant big things. And then as we just keep panning, have I think most of this is black. And as we get past this one here, I think the one after that is the Scotch pine. I don't have much Scotch pine left. There used to be, well, I used to have a lot of everything, but they've been steadily selling. That's why I think I have more time to spend on individual trees, so it should improve. This has been a really good year. Well, anyway, this one here, I think we've seen it before. I changed the container either last year or the year before, so you've probably seen it. But this is one of the best trees that I've created in the last, well, I think this is either 40 something ish or even older than that. But anyway, once I get it trimmed up, it does have perfect shape. Anyway, right now it's kind of hard to see, and I'll be getting to this as one of them. But let's kind of look at the review of the overall health of this plant. Okay, so now what we're looking at is the candles, right? So lower candles, middle candles, and even in the apex area, they are approximately the same. That means that this tree is in balance in terms of health-wise. And I kind of let it go because we did change the container. We did change a little bit in that we pruned to compensate for the root being disturbed. But now it's time to get pruned again. I wanted to open it up so that you could see more. But I think I've been telling you that it's good to see the trunk, but you also have to remember they are vulnerable to being sunburned. So this angle that I'm looking at will be getting full sun in the summertime. So I have to be very careful that I want to show you the trunk, but also that it is also protected from the setting sun in the summer. Okay, so this will conclude my sort of introduction, and these trees that you just looked at we'll see again. But there will be probably one or two per chapter, and then I'll show you in detail what I will be doing. So looking at the candles, see, they're almost all well balanced. This is one of my best trees. Now, in terms of the size, it might be a little bit small in a Japanese garden, depending on the size of the garden. But if somebody is interested in like a patio, one thing about California, the space is fairly large. So you could have something like this on your big patio, and you make a spectacular splash, right? Well, you'll look better when I get done pruning. Anyway, so I'll quit talking now. I'll say goodbye for now. So this was been sort of the introduction to the Niwaki pine pruning in the fall of 2020. Okay, so anyway, I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. Goodbye.